All right, 1 2 1 2 in the place to be. What's up, y'all? How y'all feel out there? I am Frank Red, and this is another edition of the Dungeon Program, coming to you live and direct for the next hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. We'll see how we get going on the program, and that will determine how long we stay on air. With that said, I am excited to talk to you about what's going on in the world of sports, in the world. Musically, you got any comments about music? I'm all ears. I have a movie review. I saw the new Avatar movie. I'm laughing. It's new to us, to be quite honest with you. That movie was probably made a decade ago, and they've been editing it for the past 5 years. And we'll get into it because I'm sure some of you probably saw it. If not, then I'll give you my take on the movie. But I think we're going to go heavy tonight on the San Francisco 49ers and the Golden State Warriors. Those two teams are always top of mind for a lot of our listeners, and for listeners around the country and around the world, feel free to let us know what's on your mind in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you as well. New York Knicks fans out there, I got you. The Knicks were victorious in winning the Emirates Cup. I think a lot of folks boo-hoo the Emirates Cup is just another way for the NBA to make more money, and it is. But I challenge anybody to tell me that the level of play and the ambiance and the excitement wasn't raised in that environment. Surprisingly to me, it actually matters. It's more than just a new playing surface to play on. These players really got into it, and they've been getting into it over the past couple of years. To see some of those two-way guys on the Knicks acting like high school players getting ready to move on to the sectional finals, knowing that they were going to pocket $500,000, more than their entire salary for the season. To me, that's awesome. That's really what it's all about, to see some of the underdogs step up. Kolek, the third string point guard on the Knicks, is moving up to number 2 out of Marquette, played a pivotal role. And like Jalen Brunson said, they don't win it without Kolek. So a lot of players, a lot of people contributed to that outcome. Mike Brown, talk about redemption, being basically shown the door on the tarmac by the Sacramento Kings. He's in the catbird seat at this point, head coach of the Knicks, making crazy money, laughing at the Kings who won 6 games this year. So it's a lot to talk about there. The 49ers, I got on board halfway through the season. I was not late to the party because I know football. I know football, and when I saw that the quarterback play actually ascended when Brock Purdy went out for a little while, I was like, well, this team could play with anybody. And then the dominoes started to fall into place for the 49ers. So a lot of good things are happening for them. What they can't do is they cannot take the Indianapolis Colts for granted and say, yo, let's just go to Indianapolis and check off a win, because that's when you lose. You can't look at Phillip Rivers and say, well, he's 44. He hasn't played in 5 years. He can't play. Don't do that. You got to take this game tomorrow night literally like it is the game getting to the Super Bowl, the game getting to the playoffs. If you're a 49er fan. Now, if you're a Colts fan or somebody else hanging in the balance of a playoff spot if the 49ers lose, then you got a different perspective. And I'd love to hear from you as well. But I do want to talk about how you feel about the San Francisco 49ers prospects tomorrow against the Indianapolis Colts, who have a really good running game, stout offensive line. But when you look at these two teams, I think the 49ers are the better team, and they should win. Sometimes the best team doesn't always win, so we can talk about that as well. Golden State Warriors got off the mat and had a comeback victory against a team that embarrassed them 2 nights earlier, the Phoenix Suns. The Warriors won last night, 119 to 116. in what was a spirited win that was not easy. It was not easy. And it just kind of shows you how tenuous victories are for the Golden State Warriors. And some of it is their own doing. And we're going to talk about that as well. We'll get into the specifics of the game, but they were led by Stephen Curry's 28 points. Forget about age. This guy, we don't know how old he is. You know, you got sort of devil's advocate. Let's flip that and say that maybe Stephen Curry starring in The Angel's Advocate. You know, he promised to do 100 more good deeds. You know, he met an angel in the parking lot or something. He said, listen, you do 100 more good deeds, Stephen, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 more years of your basketball career playing at the top of your game. Something crazy is happening because he's playing phenomenally. So, good for him. My name is Frank Red. You're listening for the first time. This is the In the Dungeon Show. Hit the subscribe button and follow this channel if you like what you hear. If you're just checking us out and kind of deciding what you want to do, I dig that as well. I want to wish everybody happy holidays. But more than anything, I just want everybody to be safe in the upcoming days, upcoming weeks. A lot going on around the world. But be safe and be thankful, man. Be thankful for what you have. If you wake up every day, you are truly winning. You really are. There's so many things that people take for granted. I'm one of those people. I try not to. I try to stay really present and cognizant, but I'm not perfect. But I got a lyric in a song that I'm writing now. It's called Can You Feel Me? It's going to be out probably in a month. I'm so excited about this song. But one of the lyrics that I said, like the earth, sometimes I move too fast. That's when I take the time to smell the green grass. And what is that metaphor? That metaphor is just like what I said. It's like, you know what? We have a lot to be thankful for. And a lot of times we find ourselves in a place where it's really about giving. But it's really about being present and being thankful for what we have. And sharing those warm feelings with other people. That's my mentality. And if I can offer it to you and have you find a place in your life where it's appropriate, then that's all good. With that said, we're here to talk sports. We're going to talk entertainment, talk some movies, whatever you want to do. It is all good. Once again, my name is Frank Red. Let's go out and start the show like we normally do. I talk to the great Vicky. I love to hear her comments. Vicky says, "Hi, Frank. How are you? I'm glad the Warriors won yesterday. I love little Richard. He makes the Warriors better. How do you think the 49ers will do?" I didn't see Will Richard coming. I mean, I really didn't. I watched him at Florida. He was outstanding. But he was probably the 3rd best player on that Florida team. I guess he went to Belmont before that. I didn't think he would be able to shoot as well as he has from the perimeter. But he has been unflappable. Whether or not Kerr puts him in the lineup or not, when he gets his opportunities, he really takes advantage of it. He does some of the things that we wish Moses Moody would do. He's just really consistent. I'm going to see what the shooting percentages are at the end of the year. But the one thing that I like about him is that he's impervious to pressure. He does not feel the pressure. And part of that, I think, is the fact that he is a champion and he's played in top-notch programs. Kerr has a lot of confidence in him. And they don't win that game last night, obviously, without Will Richards. So I hope he gets another opportunity tomorrow night against a really good Orlando Magic team that's really talented. So we'll see how that works out. But big up to Will Richard. Vicky also says, what do you think the Dylan Brooks hit on Steph? Obviously, I didn't like it. I thought it was Bush League. But the second time that I saw it, it wasn't like a real wind up. I'm gonna hit him against the chest. I want to knock the wind out of him. He hit him, but I don't know. I mean, Steph went down, so I'm not gonna try to assess how hurt he was. I thought it was a horrible play. I thought he should have been kicked out of the game. I don't know how he didn't get kicked out. I have no idea. But more than anything, to me, it's disrespectful. If Draymond Green did that, what would have happened? So I'm like, does Dylan Brooks not have a reputation? And quietly, I respect Dylan Brooks as a basketball player, as somebody who wants to hurt people on the court. No, I'm not down with that. I thought the NBA had worked really hard to get rid of that stuff. And when you couple the fact, this is Stephen Curry. Can you imagine if he did that to Jordan? That guy? If it was Isaiah Thomas, it's different. You're looking at players on a certain level, different time. But Dylan Brooks, I didn't like that play at all. I don't. And I'm a little surprised that no ramifications beyond getting a technical foul came out of that. Did not like it. Vicky says, Mike is so grateful to the Kings. Yeah, listen. I might have told this story before. I think as a matter of fact, I know I did. But this is a story about Bobby Ranadab, the owner of the Sacramento Kings, who he's been a terrible owner. Let's be honest. He has been absolutely terrible. Does that mean he's not a good person? He doesn't do great work in the community? No, he might be doing wonderful things that people who are in the receiving side know about. I don't know about him. I assume he's a great citizen in the Sacramento community, has done a lot of things to help people. He's not a good owner. Look at his track record. And he's not Clippers of the 80s and 90s. I'm not going to say that. But he does not do a good job as an owner. And I was suspicious of him when they did the 60-minute preview, when they talked about his basketball philosophy when he's coaching his daughters, where he would rather his players basket hang as opposed to go on the defensive end and play defense. Go, no, we'll just let them basket hang and we'll throw the ball down. I'm like, come on, man, really? I got sidetracked. Here's my story. Bobby Ranadab was trying to get a visa to the United States, and he showed up at the passport visa office in India when he was a really young person, and he literally begged this person to allow him to get his visa after the time limit had passed, say 5 o'clock. And they granted him the opportunity to come to the United States, where he studied, I'm sure, engineering, technology, and did a phenomenal job, became very, very wealthy. I would think that someone who's had to deal with that level of adversity would have a little more empathy for his coaches. He literally fires coaches on a whim. I don't want to get off on a tangent. The Kings are not very good. Hopefully, they're going to sit with the general manager. Doug Christie as a coach, I don't know. I mean, generally, you have some coaching experience. Not all people do, but Doug Christie, sometimes his press conferences are amazing to me. So the best thing that they can do is accumulate talent. I actually think the Kings should follow the New Orleans Pelicans model that a lot of people have been laughing at, but quietly they are drafting and acquiring really talented players. Now, Zion Williamson has been, I don't think he's been a bust yet, but it hasn't worked out. But they have a lot of young players who are really talented. So we'll see what's up with that. But the Kings are a mess right now. They really are. Sorry for the fans. Grandocia says, Merry Christmas, Frank. I wish you had, oh, okay, I wish you had health, and I wish you health and a prosperous new year. Thank you, Glendocious, and my sentiments to you are exactly the same. And I know that, yeah, I won't play the other comment in which you corrected the sentence, because I get it. I mean, I make mistakes all the time. But thank you. I really appreciate it. And I mean, I was talking to my mother this afternoon, because I'm not going to be with her during the holidays, and I would love to, and I know she would want me to. But for a long time in my life, I didn't really get birthday presents. I had some nice Christmases when I was a young kid, but I never really liked, I mean, I wasn't one of these kids who wanted a lot of stuff. You know, so my mother would make me a rainbow cake for my birthday, and I was as happy as hell, man. So I'm just reared and just like feeling good and having great health, and me being prosperous financially and other ways. All it really does is give me more of an opportunity to help people. I love helping people. It's an existential benefit to me when I can support people who are in need, because I've been so lucky. I really have. Thank you. Appreciate you. TG, best show in the Bay. I don't mind hearing that. What's up, Keith? What's up, Frank? Panthers and Jaguars made a statement today. We for real. Trevor Lawrence looked really good. And people have been waiting to see the Trevor Lawrence who was the #1 quarterback in high school, the #1 overall pick, the best college quarterback when he was at Clemson. And it's taken him some time because he's kind of been turnover prone. But it appears that he's rounding into shape. You guys know how I feel about Bryce Young. I'm a big Bryce Young supporter. I was listening to Rex Ryan this morning on NFL, the pregame show from ESPN, and Rex was like, I hate small quarterbacks. I just can't stand them. But he said Bryce is playing big, so he's giving Bryce some props. I didn't realize that size could be that big a factor. I don't know what Bryce's legacy is going to be. They are in the driver's seat at this point for making the playoffs. Whether or not that's going to happen, we don't know. And how they will play in the playoffs, we don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence right now that Carolina is ready to extend him big money. I think they need to see it a little bit more. And I get it. I totally understand that. But what a leader. And a hell of a player. Bryce Young can throw the football when he has clean lanes. Ironically, as a small guy, he's really not a runner. He's really not. I think that hurts him a little bit. A lot of teams stepping up. 49ers. They weren't a playoff team last year. Keith said the Ravens offensive coordinator sucks. First, he run and injured Lamar up the middle, so he gets knocked out. Then he benches Henry late in the game. Oh, because of fumble. Yeah, I mean, John Harbaugh's gonna have to make some changes, because that fan base thinks that they're Pittsburgh. They're not Pittsburgh. They're a great fan base that has supported that team, that has had great success over the past 10 to 15 years. But some changes have to be made. Lamar doesn't look the same. I mean, they showed his speed rate this year compared to years in the past. And if it's just that he's not healthy, I get it. Maybe this is a down year, he'll come back. But they're going to be watching him next year, because you never know. You never know. You really don't. So I'm a Mike Tomlin supporter all day. Aaron Rodgers as just a face of the league. The guy walks around with a big chip on his shoulder. I love that about Aaron Rodgers. And I wasn't a big Aaron Rodgers fan when he came in the NFL, but watching his career and knowing what he stands for as a football player, somebody who really holds himself and his teammates accountable, I like to watch Aaron Rodgers play football. And Mike Tomlin, I'm still not over a couple of weeks ago, those fans booing him. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen in sports, to be quite honest with you. And I was thinking to myself, my players that I coach, I don't allow my players to talk to referees. You should never talk to a referee. To see a high school kid, a junior high school kid talking to a referee about a call, really? I'm not giving out any parental advice, trust me. But if I was raising a kid, they could not boo their home team. No way. I wouldn't stand for that. The only way you should ever boo somebody is if they're not playing hard. Playing badly? I've never booed anybody. I just don't believe in it. I don't. Because if you're going to boo them, then you're going to turn around and cheer them? Is it not hypocritical? But I'm not really a fan, really. I mean, I'm a Knicks fan, but I've never booed the Knicks. I don't get it. Somebody tell me why I'm wrong. I don't like booing. Another story, Jalen Hurts. I ride with Jalen Hurts. I guess when you're doing network television or you got a national radio show, you need to find content. Remember the past couple of days, people were talking about benching Jalen Hurts? I'm like, are you serious? You're going to bench Jalen Hurts? Nick Sirianni was like, you guys are crazy. But this is coming out of the mouth of fans. Are you a real fan? You're going to bench Jalen Hurts? Don't understand that. Aaron Glenn, former New York Jet, former defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, current head coach of the New York Jets. His big splash at the start of the season was allowing Aaron Rodgers to allegedly fly across country so he could fire him face to face when he could have told him over the phone. If they're not talking about it already, firing this guy after 1 year is not an absurd story. I don't believe in firing people. You know, that's not for me to do, particularly on air. No, I don't believe in that. You invested, you hired this guy. But if I'm the person who hired him, as bad as, you know, the Jets owner is, it would not be an absurd move. The Jets are awful. The Jets are not good in any phase of football. Not one. And every week they fire another coach. They fired Steve Wilkes, the defensive coordinator, last week. Pretty soon there's nobody else to fire except you. Can you fire yourself? You know, I mean, I always take programs that are at the bottom, particularly the high school level. And part of what I love is the process of building a team to respectability to the point where you can compete. I took over a team one time that won like 2 games the previous year. They were like 2-26. The players told me, he said, well, coach, the coach coaches on a stool. He doesn't stand up. I was like, what? And the first year that I coached, we actually got shut out in a quarter. We scored 0 points. Wound up winning like I don't know, maybe we won 3 games that first year. By the third year, we were in the NorCal playoffs. Literally. School had never gone to the playoffs before. My third year, we took them to the playoffs. I love that process. And that's kind of what Aaron Glenn is facing now. But you got to get players to believe. Now, the point I was making, I get sidetracked sometimes. When you are a coach and you take over a program, instantly you should see improvement in a certain area of the game. 3-point shooting, boxing out, running better plays, defense, taking charges, whatever you do. Even in the realm of football, you should see something that coach can say, okay, this is what I'm bringing to the table. This is what I am implementing right now. You should see it right away. I don't see anything the Jets do well. Nothing. So hopefully they'll give him another year, but it would not be absurd if he didn't come back next year. Glendosha says, looks like the Warriors are going after C.J. McCollum for Kuminga and Hill. I like that trade a lot. Wow. I hadn't heard that. But it kind of makes sense. It really does. That's almost like a layup if that's the direction that the Warriors want to go in. And they could do a lot worse. But when you look at some of the signs, Buddy Hills didn't get off the bench last night. He hasn't played well all year. It wouldn't surprise me if he's a throw-in for salaries and stuff like that. They're not trying to do Kuminga any favors. We know that. And I said at the beginning of the year that what seemingly is happening was going to happen. I said it might get to a point where the Warriors just tell Kuminga just to stay home. It gets that bad. Now, it didn't have to get to this point. Steve Kerr had a lot to do with this, which is why, you guys listen to this show, and I'm so happy that you do. But sometimes I listen to, I listen back, and I listen to some of the things that I said. And remember what I said 2-3 weeks ago? I said, that Joe Lacob's not happy. This is before he sent the alleged email to one of the Warrior fans. He's not happy because this did not have to happen. The Warriors won last night. They play Orlando tomorrow night. The Warriors' margin for error is so tiny. Why is it so tiny? Because they don't play their best players. You can go, well, Jonathan Kuminga doesn't fit. Well, he was fit in the first 5 games. He's definitely one of the more talented players on their team. Even if he doesn't work within this system, why doesn't he work within this system? That's the question that I would ask. Because he makes them better from a talent perspective. They've decided to move on. I have no problem with that at this point, But this is going to be a pretty bad period for the Golden State Warriors when they look back historically on this Kuminga, Wiseman, Jordan Poole era. Some of the younger players that they had, it just didn't work. C.J. McCollum is not a long-term fix. And he's not going to help them that much. He's really not. He's really not. I read something today that said that they were looking at Vukovic from Chicago. I don't believe that. Why would they want Nikola Vukovic? Why would they want him? What is he going to do? Shoot the same jumpers that Quentin Post shoots? He is a pretty good defensive rebounder. I'll give him that. But the Golden State Warriors, to me, they don't want to do that move. And I'm going to tell you why. I have no intel. I have not talked to anybody. But if Jonathan Kuminga was on the Chicago Bulls, he would be a star. He would turn into an absolute star. And the Warriors know this. You know how many points Chicago scored tonight against Atlanta? 150. 152. You think Kuminga wouldn't thrive in that offense, in that system? 20 points a night would not even be hard. The Warriors are not going to send Kuminga to Sacramento because of proximity. Again, they don't want to see him go somewhere else and shine. Kerr says he does. I don't know about that, because that reverberates back to the Warriors and say, well, wait a minute. Why is this guy prospering over here when he couldn't play well for the Warriors? So I don't believe that. Send him to a dog meat franchise like the Washington Wizards. They're a long way from winning. See, I told you he couldn't play. He's not doing anything on the Wizards. Vicky says, I used to boo refs until I became a ref. Now I see the mistakes they make. Merry Christmas to you, Frank. Merry Christmas to you, Vicky. You are awesome. And thank you so much for not only supporting me, but supporting the show and bringing your excellence and knowledge to our community. I really appreciate it. So I wish you all the best on Christmas and leading up to the new year. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Frantic Rage, my guy. Speaking of ugly, how about the fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua? That whole thing was an embarrassment. All right, so I wrote that down on my, my notes that I had put together for the show, and I started doing some research. I wasn't one of those people that was looking for red meat. First of all, boxing is that's a tough sport. That's a tough way to make a living. Anthony Joshua is a real boxer. This guy is a real 6'5". I mean, he supposedly got down to under 250 for this fight. Dude fights at 250, 260. I'm 6'6", 6'7", 300. And I'm not fat. There you go. So if you're a big guy and you hit somebody like that, Jake Paul lucky he didn't get killed in that ring last night. And I have some thoughts about Jake Paul and that fight. First of all, Jake Paul supposedly has made between $160 and $200 million. And most people think it was a complete sham. In spite of his training, he beat some people, but we knew if he got into the ring with a decent heavyweight fighter, he would get killed. These are real boxers. Now, if you're one of those people who wanted to see him get knocked out, comment in the chat. I want to know what your thinking was. Because regardless of the outcome, dude had some courage to get in that ring. He had to have some courage. He did. And I'm not going to take the training away from him. The countless hours that he's clearly put in. I just knew the whole thing was a sham. And I didn't watch the fight. It was on Netflix, so it was free, right? So you didn't have to, it wasn't pay-per-view, it was Netflix. I was at the movies last night, but I didn't want to see that. That was analogous to Tyson in his prime beating up some tomato can. Even though he went 6 rounds. Now you might, tell me you're red. It was actually a good fight. He had some good moments. I don't know. I didn't watch the fight. I refused to watch it. I saw the outcome and I was like, wow, this is a total mismatch. But he made $160 million. I think Jake Paul at some point said, I want my life back. I'm tired of this. So let me get in there with a real boxer and give it my best shot and see what happens. Now Jake Paul can go and he'll probably do boxing commentating or something like that. You don't need the money. It shows you the ridiculousness of boxing sometimes. Jake Paul, is there another heavyweight in that? Is there another fighter in the heavyweight division that could make $160 to $200 million over that time span that Jake Paul has been fighting? I don't think so. The marketing was incredible. Vicky says, I don't see anything that the Raiders do well. I think on defense, Vicky, the Raiders have had some moments this year. I think that there's some players on that team that really do play hard. And unfortunately, it takes 11. But I see the Raiders playing pretty hard on defense. I have to give them some credit. Offensively, they might be the worst offensive team in football. Genty, the first-round pick out of Boise State, in spite of his touchdown today, has been a complete disaster. You can't name any of their wide receivers. Obviously, they have a couple of really quality tight ends, Bowers and the other kid from Notre Dame, Michael. Is it Myers? I'm not quite sure the other tight end's name. But I actually think that if the Raiders, if the Raiders hire the right coach and really start to establish the building blocks in the offseason, they could be decent next year. And decent means maybe 500. But then again, if they have a bunch of cats meddling into the pot, which you know that they will, why would it be good? Las Vegas is not a great market for a football team. On the field. And the cash register, it's brilliant. They make a ton of money. Great marketing for the city. Every road team that comes to Las Vegas to play the Raiders brings a boatload of people, fills up hotels. The Raiders have no home crowd. Bad. So, Vicky, I would say defensively, they've done okay. If you look at the statistics, I have not, but I think they're probably top 15, top 20. Offensively, they are a train wreck. Geno Smith needs to retire. He really does. I grew up watching Ali, Sugar Ray, George Foreman. That was a prime era of boxing. No doubt about it. No doubt. No doubt. And I think to myself, where are those guys? And I think, Vicky, the money got really good in other sports. So I think those athletes are probably playing football, basketball, not as many playing baseball. But I think basketball and football took away the potential of developing some of those top flight heavyweight boxers. Because we just don't see them. I mean, there are some terrific fighters in the lower weight classes. But the heavyweights, we just don't see that level of talent. It's unfortunate. Aaron Loss, what's up? Do you think the Niners are a first-round exit with this defense, especially run defense? No, I don't. I think that their last. Who did they play last? I think that was more of an aberration. They played horrible on defense their last game. I can't remember who they played, but schematically, I think that they show up. I also think that Tatum Bethune coming back is going to help them. He's coming back after being injured. And I mean, all things considered, that the 49ers don't have a pass rush, a consistent pass rush. I like what Robert Saleh does with the team from a defensive perspective. So if they were playing on the road, I would say they would probably go home. But if they're playing at Levi in the first round matchup, I think they're probably going to do okay. Now, who would they play? Who are the wild cards? Is it Green Bay or somebody like that? Who? I think the 49ers are fine. And it wouldn't even surprise me if they won a couple of games. Because this is a crazy year. It's a crazy year. Particularly in the NFC. Who do you have in the NFC that you are afraid of? They're not going to play Philly in the opening round if they win the division. Now, if they don't win a division and they play on the road, then yeah, they could very easily lose. If they had to go to Philly and beat Philly on the road, I would pick Philly, personally. If they're playing, I guess they could even play Seattle or the Rams at Levi. Those are tough games, man. Those are tough games. I think that's why there's such a premium on making the playoffs, because it is really hard. You know all the teams just like I do. In the NFC East, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas is not making the playoffs. Nobody else is making the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting. What do you think? I think the 49ers have as good a chance as, I'm going to say, teams from 3 through 8. Or is it 16 to make the playoffs? I'm not quite sure. It's 4 division and 2 wild cards. The Rams are tough. Seattle really doesn't scare me. As good as their defense is, Sam Darnold has played well, but they don't really bother me. They really don't. But these last, not counting tomorrow night, but they play Chicago and they play Seattle. I expect them to show up against both of those teams. I do. The Rams are clearly, if Adams is playing, I think the Rams are the best team. They've been the most consistent team. But when you look at Saquon Barkley run yesterday, you ask yourself, what happened? Where's that guy been? Because he looked terrific. He really did. And Jalen Hurts is he's a big game quarterback. And he kind of picks his spots, particularly running the football. I'm going to say the Phillies receiving core is as good as the Rams. Maybe not as high profile, but A.J. Brown and Dante Smith, those guys go get the ball. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to come down to the running game. And the Rams got a good running game. I'm going to say Philly, and I believe the Rams are the 2 most physically gifted teams in the NFC. Going on the premise, we don't even know if Green Bay is going to make it. We don't know. They're not the same team without Micah Parsons. Vicky says, I don't think any team has looked all that great. How did the Rams lose that game? Exactly. They've had those types of mishaps. And it can happen again. So I'm excited about the playoffs. And the 49ers, sometimes crazy things happen. This is one of those years. And guess what? 10 years from now, if the 49ers win the Super Bowl, no one's going to remember who got injured or who got hurt and who they had to beat. You either win the Super Bowl or you don't. Think about this right now. Tampa Bay might not make the playoffs. And Baker Mayfield, when he's right, he can beat anybody. But his team might not even be in the playoffs. It's been a crazy year. TG says Scott Saleh deserves a head coaching job ASAP. I don't disagree with that, but I'm going to say this. You know, a popular saying is all money ain't good money. And after Robert Saleh had his teeth kicked in New York as the head coach of the Jets, he needs to be very particular about who he signs up to coach, you know, which program he wants to take over. Cam Ward, I haven't seen enough to say, oh yeah, that's my guy. He's played better recently, but I don't know any team that potentially will have an opening that I would just willingly jump on board at all costs. Now, with that said, everybody has a price if you're a coach. And when they get up to the point where they're offering you $7, $8, $10 million a year to coach a team, you got to do it. You have to, because there's only 32 teams. You don't know when you're going to get another opportunity. You know, so if the dollars are comparable within $1 million or $2 million, he's probably going to make $5 million next year as the 49ers defensive coordinator. I believe that. Why not? Why wouldn't he make $5 million next year? You know, but if somebody's going to pay you $10 million, I think you have to do it. Look at the guy Cohen, you know, the offensive coordinator of Tampa Bay, who's now the head coach of Jacksonville. Jacksonville was dog meat a couple of years ago, and he went down there with a talented but inconsistent quarterback and turned that thing around pretty darn fast to the point where they're going to be in the playoffs. So I hope Robert Saleh chills for one more year. I really do. But if the numbers get really, really crazy, he almost has to take a head coaching job. Sacramento beat Houston in overtime. The Kings are a lot better than their record. I did not know that. What was the score? That's crazy. Hold on. I got a couple computers, so I can look at this myself. Hang with me, everybody. 125 to 124. Russell Westbrook at 21. DeMar DeRozan at 27. Keegan Murray, 26. Give the Kings credit. Give them credit. I think that I watched Houston lose to San Antonio or Denver the other night, and it took me back to last year in the playoffs against the Warriors. And the conclusion that I drew, and I'm drawing now watching this Houston team play that is very talented, they can't run a half-court offense. They don't have a point guard. I like Reed Sheppard. I really do. I could watch Reed Sheppard play basketball all day because he's so skilled. But he's a little jittery with the ball in his hands. He's not a true point guard. He's a lead guard. Know what that means? Reed Sheppard actually should be in a Steve Kerr offense. If Reed Sheppard was on the Warriors, oh my God, where he just would make quick, decisive moves on offense, and he didn't have to like run an offense and set it up. I've been watching him since he was at Kentucky. He had some of the same challenges at Kentucky. So give the Kings credit. That's a big time win. It's a 7th win of the year. They struggle with consistency, but give them credit. That's a horrible loss for Houston. Horrible. Vicky says, I think Saleh should buy his time and become the 49ers head coach when Shanahan is done. That's an interesting take. Why would Shanahan want to leave, though? I mean, Shanahan, Vicky, this year literally is going to be what? Top 3 in coach of the year. He might even win it. He's not an old guy. Shanahan, is Shanahan even 50? He's not 50. In his 40s, maybe? There's a lot of runway out there. There's a lot of money out there. These guys are making $8 to $10 million a year. So, one of the best play callers in all of football. I think Saleh's going to have to go somewhere else to really build his legacy. And that's okay. Vicky says, Houston sucks. They had a 42-point lead. They had a 42-point lead? Are you serious? Wow. Key says, the first week of college football was boring. All blowouts. Notre Dame should have been in instead of Tulane and James Madison. They need to tweak the system. My sentiments, exactly. And it was funny because, Keys, you make a lot of good points. When I was preparing my notes tonight, I said to myself, they got the number right. I think 12 is the right number. I even think the system is the right number where you're playing in the early rounds, you're playing home games. What a brilliant idea. How much more exciting it is to see the early games on the home side of the playoff participants. I thought it was awesome. To see Alabama go to Oklahoma and beat them on their home field was classic. But Tulane and James Madison, God bless them, but nobody's surprised that they got their butts kicked. And I don't know if they're going to be able to tweak the system that much without having lawsuits and other problems that the NC2A doesn't want to have to deal with. But it was kind of a mismatch. It really was. I was happy to see Ole Miss win, and after losing Lane Kiffin, though, I was happy to see them win. But I wanted to see Notre Dame in the playoffs. I think they deserved it. Don't tell me they're not in it because they lost to Miami. Really? And give Miami credit. That defense was ferocious, and they knocked off Texas A&M. So we knew there would be some upsets, but the two non-major schools didn't make a strong case why those types of teams should be in it moving forward. I don't think they're going to do away with it, but it wasn't a good look. I totally agree with you. A couple of surprises for me in the NBA. I did not think that the Boston Celtics would be as competitive as they are. They're not only competitive, they're 17-11. Playing excellent basketball. I, along with some other people, need to give Jaylen Brown more respect because he's played like a number one option. He really has. And he's played like a leader. He's one of the best two-way players in the NBA. And their system works. That's the Eastern Conference. But Boston's played good basketball. Also, the New Orleans Pelicans, you know what? I mean, DeMarcus Cousins raised the topic a couple of months ago. I don't know if New Orleans is a market that needs an NBA team. I don't know if they do or not. I'm not saying that they should move the team. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when I think of NBA basketball, I don't think of New Orleans necessarily. And looking at the gates, I mean, having a team in that particular market might work for scheduling for the NBA, but I don't know. I don't know. With that said, they got some young players down there that are talented. They really are. And it's going to be interesting next year when Adam Silver, starts to comment more frequently about expansion, because he talked about it recently and said that in 2026 they're going to have serious conversations about it. It's inevitable, I think, personally. I think it's inevitable. And the markets that he specifically talked about were Las Vegas and Seattle, which I think would be successful markets for the NBA financially. Talk about the crazy stories that would come out of Las Vegas. Oh my God. I mean, you think the Raiders struggle? I mean, we all know about the Atlanta trip, right? You know, you go to Atlanta and you don't play the first night you get there. That's almost like a built-in win for the whole team. So in the past, I don't know about now, but the players would go to Atlanta and allegedly frequent some of the establishments the night before they play the Hawks. And that would help the Hawks. Can you imagine the guys rolling into Vegas on a Thursday night and they got to play the Vegas team on Friday? Wow. Vicky says the next NBA team will be in Las Vegas. It's a good bet. I think Seattle is a wonderful market. They got a history of basketball. I'm going to tell you what's cool about Seattle. Even though they have not had an NBA team in the past 20 years, I guess it's been about 20 years at this point, they still produce a lot of players just because the culture is so rich in basketball. You know, Rainier, some of those other schools up in that Seattle area, they produce players. I'm going to say shut it down right now. While there's a lot of talented college players, I think A.J. DeBonsa is the number one pick. And I don't even think that it's that close, which speaks to how good I think he will be as an NBA player. You can tell he's a student of the game. He studied Kobe. I mean, they talk about Tracy McGrady comparisons. When I look at A.J. DeBonsa, I see Kobe Bryant. Not the flamboyant Kobe, but the footwork in the mid-range, in the post area. I love how he plays. He plays like a 90s player. He really does. That dude's legit. You know, and Danny Ainge, once again, has his Ouija board out, trying to figure out a way to get A.J. DeBonsa. Special talent. I love college basketball this year. I am having so much fun watching these young kids play. Also, I want to talk about, I thought when Jay Kidd said he was going to make Cooper Flagg a point forward, I thought that was ridiculous. I really did. I was like, well, maybe I'll learn something. Maybe it's something that I don't see. No, I saw that was not going to work. When you put this kid in his natural position, which is a wing, you got to see how good Cooper Flagg is playing now. I mean, his birthday might have been like a couple of days ago or something like that. He's like maybe like 19 now. Started the season at 18. Dropped 41 points. This kid, again, he's another old school player. The way that he shoots the ball, I don't think he's ever going to be able to shoot above 35% from three. He's going to have to adjust his shot, but I don't know if I would adjust it. He's so good at making mid-range tools, because he elevates over the defender and just kind of flicks the ball in the basket. Dallas is actually fun to watch now. They really are. I can't wait till they get Kyrie. You know, think about that. They got a legitimate big three. I mean, Anthony gets hurt a lot, but you got Anthony Davis, Cooper Flag, and Kyrie. Good luck with that. Shadar, what's up? Key says Kuminga could be a poor man's Jaylen Brown, but can't get off Kerr's bench. What a shame. Which is why I wanted to go to Chicago. What do you think of my idea of him going to Chicago? Billy would let him go. Billy would give him some core responsibilities and say, yo, dude, just go, man. Because he's still learning the game. Kuminga's IQ is not where you would expect a player 5 years in the NBA to be. He's not there. But he did some things early on in this season that I had not seen him do before. Like driving left, finishing with left-hand dunks. If that kid gets unleashed, look out. Keith, you need your own show, dude. Who's a better prospect? AJ Ndabunsa or Flag? Wow. I don't know, to be quite honest with you. I don't know. They're that close. And they basically do the same things. Both of them are great in the half court. Neither one are great three-point shooters. Ndabunsa has a more natural shooting form, but still, he doesn't have a whole lot of arc in his shot either. I don't know. That's why I can't wait for that matchup. You tell me. If I gave you an answer, it would be because I favored one player over the other. But I really can't articulate why one player is better than the other. Ndabunsa he's a more explosive, quick jumper than Cooper. Cooper needs a little more space to elevate. And when he does elevate, look out. You give him 2 or 3 feet of runway and he'll dunk on anybody. Ndabunsa is a quick twitch, explosive jumper. That might be the only thing that I look at between those two guys. And I say, okay, this guy's a little more devastating because he can really explode to the rim in ways I haven't seen Cooper do it yet. But Cooper, man, what a talent. He's looking real good. Frantic Ray says, Cal men are now 12-1. We'll see how good they are when they finally play the heavy hitters. Yeah, they're beating up on the Ivies. Who they beat? They play Columbia. But hey, man, give Mark Matson credit. 12-1. If you go 12-1 in the non-conference and you go 500 in the ACC, you're up around 20, 21 wins. You get to the semifinals of ACC. Then they got to take it serious. They got a chance. So, all in all, stock up on Cal. They don't have a real big NIL budget. They definitely don't have that. So I got to give Cal a lot of credit. Hopefully they will continue. Keith says, do you think if Embiid and Paul George are healthy, the Sixers are a threat? Yes, I do. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Because Paul George and Embiid are both really good half-court players. And if you look at success in the playoffs, more times than not, is predicated in the half court. Now, OKC kind of flipped the script a little bit last year because literally since like the Warriors to a certain degree, but I go back to the Bulls teams, OKC was able to extend their defense in ways that most NBA teams can't. But OKC comes at you in waves on the perimeter with defensive players, and that's impressive. So from a defensive perspective, they're really good. Philly can't do that. If Philly gets down, they really can't extend pressure. They rely on half-court execution, kind of like the Knicks. Kind of like the Knicks. When you look at the Eastern Conference, if Philly gets healthy, you got to take them as a serious threat. Boston to a certain degree. What if Jason Tatum comes back in March and slides right into that team? Do you take them serious? You got to take the Knicks serious. You got to take the Knicks serious. The Knicks, I think, have the half-court offense and the rebounding might and interior defense that can potentially cause problems for a lot of teams.
Okay. I found this on the web.
Because Mitchell Robinson is actually playing more.
And the rebound.
Mitchell Robinson is playing more than he did under Thibodeau. So I like how Mike Brown is playing Mitchell Robinson and Cat together. It makes the Knicks a far more potent defensive team. I'm going to give you some promotion, Shadal. I'm doing a San Francisco 49ers versus Indianapolis Colts post game. Would you like to join me? I'm going to say to you, crush it. I think I'm going to be on Larry's post game show tomorrow night. So I can't do it. But I'm glad you're doing it. Crush it. Crush it. Build your audience. Build your audience. But thank you, man. At some point, maybe I will come on your show if you give me an invitation. All right. I saw the Avatar movie, James Cameron, and I think I'm out of the Avatar business at this point. Not a bad movie, but the plot is very similar to the previous plots. It really is. That's why I think this movie was probably made 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whenever they did it. And it's just another in the series of the original Avatar movie. The movie making, the artistic creativity is fascinating. I saw it in 3D. For those of you who've seen 3D movies, you know the effects. It's right up on you. And that's all good. But I think I've seen enough of the Avatar franchise. What's interesting to me, though, with the advent of AI, I think if you can somehow combine, because James Cameron's Avatar technique is kind of an iteration of AI in a lot of ways. I think that in a different genre, this technology actually could produce some interesting films. So we'll see how creative directors start to use this technology in a totally different genre. I don't want to see AI actors. You might say, but Red, they're already out there. But I don't want to see that. I want to see real stories. I want to see people acting and telling stories that I can relate to. I'm going to see the Chalamet movie on Christmas Day about chess, right? What's it called? I'm not quite sure the name. I'm sure you guys know it. But I'm going to go to the movies on Christmas, and maybe I'll go on Saturday as well. With regards to Avatar, I would give it a solid B. It's not a bad film. It's not a great film. If you liked the previous Avatar movies, you'll like this one. I couldn't stay awake for the whole thing. It's over 3 hours. I probably watched maybe 2 hours and 40 minutes of it, but there was about 20 minutes of it that I did not see. I was so tired. But yeah, you know, so it was kind of a letdown. If I went to the movies with some expectations that I would see something that I had not seen before, I didn't see that. I saw more of the same, which is not bad, but nothing groundbreaking in the third Avatar movie. So, do you all have any questions for me? We've been all over the board. Who saw the Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua movie fight? Because I didn't see it. I was out doing other things. Anybody think the 49ers are going to lose tomorrow night? I don't think so. I think these guys are locked in. I think they understand that this is an opportunity of a lifetime. The way the chips are falling into place, they need to go to Indianapolis, take a workmanlike approach, and get on top of this team early. You know, they're playing their best football right now, and it sets up a 2-game battle royale against Seattle and Chicago. Not necessarily in that order, but their last 2 games against those 2 teams. And those should be battles. Those should be battles. Although, Green Bay gave the game away against Chicago. But that has happened to Chicago so many times this year. So you got to give them some credit. But Green Bay coughed that game up. They really did. And they might not even make the playoffs. They spoiled a really good effort by Willis, the backup quarterback of Green Bay. Just spoiled it. How often do you go live on your channel? Pretty much once a week. Which is not a lot. I'm really busy. And I need to have something to talk about. I could come on air more often, but I'm really busy. And I really like to have stuff to talk about. I don't like to just regurgitate information that I hear on 19,000 shows. And I hear that a lot. And I understand why. You know, people are making money and you have to provide a lot of content if you want to make money doing this. I have no problem with it. It's not something that I have to do. Vicky, do you think we will win the Super Bowl? What are you doing for Christmas? I'm going to watch a lot of sports on Christmas. And I'm going to go to a restaurant in the evening. And I'm going to go to the movies. That's what I'm going to do. It's going to be really quiet. My family is not around. Different part of the country, but I'm going to get together with a couple friends and just kind of do that. But it's going to be real chill. How about you? What are you doing on Christmas, Vicky? Frantic Rage says the Niners winning tomorrow. All right. Well, check me out tomorrow. I'm not going to nail it down, but I might be on Larry Kruger's podcast tomorrow in the post game. If I get invited, I think I will, but we'll see. Frantic Rage says, since you like music, do you prefer the Beatles or Rolling Stones? Definitely the Beatles. I like the Rolling Stones. They made songs that I like, but I'm a songwriter. So as a songwriter, the Beatles are among the best to ever make music. So I love listening to certain Beatles songs. So it's not even I don't have to think about that. Beatles all day. The Beatles released individually or collectively 253 songs. I read the news yesterday. You know, I know Beatles, dude. I think Eleanor Rigby is probably my favorite. I don't know if I can say that though. I really like Eleanor Rigby. Hey Jude, Let It Be. Yeah, so many Beatles songs I like. No, Having Christmas with My Cat. Did you see the movie with The World Without the Beatles? No, is that a documentary or is that a real movie? Can I find it on YouTube somewhere? Where can I find it, Vicky? Frantic Rage says, Beatles, me too. Beatles, me too. What's your favorite Beatles? You can't have one. You know, what are your top 3 Beatles songs that you like? Hello, Goodbye. I like that too. Yeah, I mean, just incredible time for music. Yeah, I'm a big Beatles supporter. I'm still discovering songs that they have written that I have not even listened to. So that's pretty cool. I don't know anybody who has been as prolific as they have been. I don't know. Anybody listen to the new Nas and DJ Premier album? It's called Light Years. And I got to hear it again. I had such high expectations for that album. And my initial reaction was not what I wanted it to be. It's not bad. I don't think Nas can make a bad record, but it didn't jump off at me the way that De La Soul's new album did. De La Soul sounds like vintage De La Soul, which is awesome. They actually got a cut with Nas. Run It Back is really cool. They also have a cut on the album that was produced by Pete Rock that is dope. So if you're a hip hop fan, I would say check out that De La Soul album. Listen to the Nas album. Anything else that you might have heard? I would say right now, as we get into the movie award season and headed towards the Grammys, I got to think the Clips are going to win it this year, because the Clips came out of nowhere which is probably a classic album. You know, I'm happy for those cats. You know, I love to see people who put that work in, who are not getting the ceremonial applause or a ceremonial love. You know, I want to see people go out and tour because they got the dopest album in the game. And that has not necessarily been the case from a lot of our veteran-oriented actors. I'm a veteran-oriented artist, but I think De La is going to be busy because they put together a good album. The Clips have been touring everywhere, and that's been kind of cool. So, yeah, so we covered it all. The Warriors play tomorrow night, a real tough, talented, young Orlando Magic team. There'll be more rumors about where Jonathan Kuminga is going to end up. I actually had not heard the Washington Wizards name banting about in the rumor mill, but that actually makes maybe the most sense for the Warriors, because CJ McCollum is more of a plug and play type of player for the Warriors. He doesn't help the Warriors get that much better. But I don't know if Curry even cares at this point. I don't think that he wants to suck, but I think Kerr has bigger fish to fry. I put it out there last week. I have no intel. Maybe it's not even in the playbook, but it would not surprise me if 2 or 3 years from now, Steve Kerr is coaching the San Antonio Spurs. That would not surprise me at all. You know, I think he has the trust, he has the familiarity with that organization, being a former Spur himself, his relationship with Popovich, the numerous coachable players that he has, that San Antonio has on that roster. And then I watched a clip today in which Kerr was saying he was chasing championship number 6. Well, he didn't say number 6. He says he was chasing another championship, is what he said. Presumably with the Warriors, but he's still a young guy. He's 60 years old. I don't think he's done. But like most coaches, like a Phil Jackson, there's only X number of teams that he would coach. And the San Antonio Spurs, I believe, are one of those teams. Mick Johnson, talented, young guy, but he needs to do what the guy in Boston did. He needs to win relatively quick. You have a generational player and Victor Wembanyama. They're not going to wait around for him to get acclimated to the NBA. They expect him to win. I'm not going to say they need to make the Western Conference Finals, but if they don't make it past the first round this year, the way that they got off, Castle, are you kidding me? So there's a lot of pressure on Mick Johnson to perform. Otherwise, things could even move quicker than I'm even talking about, because Kerr doesn't have a contract. The guy in the movie hits the head and ends up in a world without the Beatles and Coke. It's called Yesterday. I think I saw that. I think I saw it. Frantic Rage says, Ticket to Ride, Paperback Writer, okay, and Eleanor Rigby. Yeah. Those are 3 great Beatles songs too. Yep. I could talk music forever, y'all. Get excited about me though. Get excited for me. I got a record coming out in probably a month. I cut the first vocal last week. I got to go in the first week in January. I have another studio session, and we're gonna wrap it up there and get this thing in the market. I actually have about 3 or 4 songs in the can that I have not released yet. I need to get busy in 2026, and I am. I want to thank everybody for being a part of the show tonight. Once again, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, but more than that, I just want to wish for good health and safety for everybody who checks the program out and everybody in the world, man. Why not? Why not? So don't move too fast. Take your time. You'll get there. You'll get there. Enjoy yourselves. Hopefully you're chilling with some loved ones. Vicky, I know you love your cat, and that's all good. And I'll talk you down the road. I love this. Bay Area Music Lens. Thank you. Hit the like button. Yes, sir. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the show. This is In the Dungeon Show. My name is Frank Red. Also, hit me up at Big Frank Red. All right? Everybody take care. Good night. And I'll see you next week. Have a Merry Christmas. Good night, everybody.